Hi guys, Jamie from Boxing Life, and welcome back to the channel. And today I've got a film study on Terence Crawford's switch hitting and how he uses it to adjust, I guess, mid exchanges, mid fight, and also just being able to fight out of both stances, the advantages and disadvantages, I guess, at times. So I'll discuss all that. This was a request from champ level member Girish. As always, man, I appreciate your requests. And just a reminder as well, guys, if you want me to cover a boxing topic or a film or do a film study, the champ level tier gives you that ability to do so. But today's film study, I'm obviously going to be covering Terence Crawford's switch hitting. And I think it's not necessarily something he does all the time, but I think when it calls for it, he'll definitely do it. And I've kind of looked at some previous fights of his in moments where he does do it and where it's actually worked out in his favor. And maybe some of you guys can take this into your training or even notice it when you're watching fights. So yeah, I'll get into this just now. So the first fight we're going to be looking at is Crawford's fight versus Gamboa. This was his first title defense at lightweight, I believe, quite a few years ago now. It must have been 2015, maybe 2014. Can't remember off the top of my head. So yeah, it was a very good win because Gamboa was considered, a top guy at that time. And, he was obviously, I think he won gold at the Olympics as well. So he was a top amateur. So, people were probably discrediting Crawford at the time. That's what I remember as well. And obviously, the Cuban background as well. But, Terence Crawford just showed his adaptability in this fight, mainly through his use of switching stances and using it to close the range through shifting his footwork forwards and backwards. And that can be very useful at any moment in a fight, especially if you're trying to press the action and even defensively, if you're looking to set up shots. It's really handy to do. The other thing, just to mention, I've not done this in order, guys, in terms of like rounds and stuff. It's just what I picked up. So I might go back around, but it's still interesting nonetheless, just the little tactics that they use. So this is just the first one. So obviously you can see here Crawford is in the orthodox stance. So he's lead hand in front. And Gamboa is also an orthodox fighter. So what Crawford does here in this moment, he commits with the right hand. And this is just a really nice little move, what he does here, right from after he commits. And to be fair, Gamboa almost like parries the jab away, as you can see there. So I'm just going to change the color of this so you can see that a little bit better. So yeah, he kind of parries that right hand away. But what Crawford does really well in this moment despite Gamboa parrying away that shot, you see he brings his back leg forward, okay, into the southpaw stance. Now, he kind of does a reverse roll of the shoulder, okay, for Gamboa's lead left hook, as you can see here, as he's trying to come over the top. But kind of Crawford shifts his weight now onto onto his left leg, but he kind of rolls his punch around and then cracks Gamboa with the right hook. I'm going to have to slow this down. Sorry, I forgot to slow down right at the beginning. So we'll just watch that again quickly, just that wee sequence. So commits with the right, kind of a reverse shoulder roll from the southpaw stance, and then he kind of basically swings his right arm up to land the right hook. Really nice. And then he kind of, once again, you can't really see here, but he kind of shuffles his footwork to get out of distance. And he's still in that southpaw stance, which is great. And then from here, you can see that opening. Gamboa is out of position. He's not in his natural stance. He's not a switch hitter after all. And he's kind of framing out that backhand after Crawford kind of shuffles out of range. So Gamboa sticks out that hand, and obviously look where the opening is for that body shot from the southpaw stance. Now, Gamboa does actually kind of clip Crawford a little bit here, just grazes him. But it's still just a nice little sequence of Crawford just switching stances subtly and putting him in a better position to also get out the exchange, but also counter back at him. And in that case, he went to the body. And you can see there immediately then Crawford goes back into his orthodox stance. And Gamboa is overreaching with the right hand. He does kind of connect, I guess. But Crawford's coming in as well and lands the lead left hook on Gamboa. And then comes in with this kind of right uppercut to the body. Does get caught at the end, though, to be fair. But out of all those exchanges, if we watched the whole exchange again, Crawford probably got the best out of it, and it was mainly due to his use of shifting and changing stances to get out of position, but also to counterpunch. And this is another thing, which is it's an interesting counter, and Naoya Inoue does it a lot, actually. I don't know if you guys have seen that video I did. It was kind of like a demonstration video of Inoue and Ohashi, Inoue's manager, who also used to be a fighter, and they use this counter in Japan. And I don't know if this is just like Terence Bud Crawford's team have picked this up from somewhere, but basically, when a fighter throws the backhand, either as a straight punch or even as a rear hook or a looping overhand like this, a way to counter it. Now, Crawford doesn't step back in this instance, but as they throw the right hand, you can throw the left hook, the lead left hook, and then return with the right hand. And it's a good counter to use. And there is some other instances in this fight where you'll see it like, oh yeah, this is the exact moment he uses it right here. So Gamboa, you can see, it's loaded up to throw that overhand right over the top. And this time you can see Crawford just take that little step back, just takes the momentum away. His body weight shifts onto the back foot. So a step back, and as he steps back, you can see he's now ready to return fire with that kind of throwaway left hook counter. And it almost guides Gamboa into that right hand. It's a beautiful setup. And then defensively responsible after, framing with the lead hand, posting it out, stopping Gamboa getting any more work off. It's just really intelligent stuff. And then you can see he's, instead of, if I go back, sorry, just quickly, because in that moment, he's in the orthodox stance, and then he kind of shifts back into a southpaw stance, and that just gives him a little bit more space to shuffle out of danger. And in this case, as I just mentioned, he's pushing his backhand. Maybe he should have put his lead hand there, but he's still stopping Gamboa from getting in that position. But then you can see here, Crawford then goes with his foot position back into an orthodox stance and just gives him that balance again and stability before he works out what to do next. All right, so, and this is the previous round where he gets the first knockdown of the fight. And blocks the punch, the overhand right in this case, and then he kind of shuffles back and rolls the shoulder to get out of range. He's got nice rhythm. He just catches with the elbows, the body shot. And he's kind of, I think at this point, he's kind of forcing Gamboa to make a commitment. And in this case, Gamboa looks like he's going to commit with the left hook. Yep. And Crawford, as I just mentioned before, takes that step back. And it just gets him out of danger. And he uses that check right hook. Obviously, the next round, he uses the follow-up backhand behind it. But obviously, he absolutely cracks Gamboa in this position. As you can see here, it cracks him, hurts him. Now, Crawford, there's only really one way Gamboa can go. You can only really go right to escape. He's off balance slightly. But what does Crawford do here? Instead of just staying in the stance, this leg comes forward into an orthodox position, and he's able to generate that power with the left hook, and he just lands it from that orthodox position while stopping, basically cutting off the ring from Gamboa escaping. If he'd stayed in the southpaw position, Gamboa may have been able to circle around, even though he was hurt. There's no guarantee he would have moved that way. It's still intelligent from Crawford cutting off the ring by changing the foot position, changing stances, basically. But in the exchange, I think that's a very important thing to mention. He's doing it to cut off the ring, but he's also doing it to set up a punch as well. And he knew he had his man hurt. I think that's the other thing to make a note of. He had Gamboa hurt in that moment. So yeah, it was a smart thing to do. You can't really see the foot position here, but you can see he's obviously in an orthodox position when he throws that left hook. And it just shows you that switching stances sometimes can be very useful. Maybe I think people are too rigid with their stance. And I think Crawford's the guy that proves that you can use it to your advantage. Yeah, this is so in the clinch, this is another thing I've noticed about Crawford. That's when after a clinch, he'll go back out into an orthodox or southpaw stance, depending how he feels or what is positioning in the ring. So in this case, he's now an orthodox position. And he's using the high guard, trying to tempt something out from Gamboa. And Gamboa feints, uses the lead hand. And Crawford's high guard actually does kind of tempt out the punches in the end, interestingly enough. Crawford kind of blocks and parries, I guess, that right hand. But he's also, you look at Crawford's position, he's moved over to his left to kind of avoid that right hand as he deflects it. Now look at his foot position as Gamboa comes forward here. So he throws that right hand, ducks the follow-up right hand counter, that rear hook, and look at that. Look at where he can now target that left hook to the liver. Oof. Kind of hits more of the midsection, but it's still the breadbasket, I guess. But that's a nasty shot if we watch that again. So just bang, right there. And Crawford, after that, he then brings his leg back. Now he's in a southpaw position. You can see here. Gamboa is still kind of come forward. He's still trying to land that right hand. And Crawford blocks it pretty well. But you can see already he's moved he's gone back into that southpaw stance. Now he's orthodox. And what's Crawford going to throw here? The left hook, as he just did before. And he just takes that step back at this time. Instead of ducking, he takes the step back. Maybe does he get clipped a little bit? Maybe slightly gets caught, but the fact he's leaning right back on that back foot, you can see him already setting up this right hand. He's already loaded up for that right hand because he's leaned back onto that back foot. See that? So he steps back, takes the sting off the punch. Gamboa, look how open he is after he's thrown. Both hands are down. So many openings where he could target. And he goes down to the body again. Gamboa then loads up. Crawford once again takes, after he throws that right hand, the weights on the front foot, but he quickly adjusts, parries that backhand with the lead hand, in this case an orthodox stance, and then he shifts back his footwork into an orthodox position. And you can see that counter he did again, that left hook after they throw the backhand. And then but the interesting thing with this moment, he shifts back into the southpaw stance to land that right hook. And he's just in a better position to land it because of it. And he's able to get was it the second or the third knockdown? I think that was in the second. But we'll just watch that sequence again, just so you guys can see. So just keep an eye on the footwork here. So orthodox, and then it finishes it in the southpaw. And then it also, he kind of shuffles out into an orthodox position to finish it in the end. So just I think that's a really good example of being able to shift your footwork backward. To be fair, Crawford is throwing very wide open punches, which can be dangerous, especially against a kind of longer guy or a more I guess, rigid guy who's able to maybe who's not opening up as much as Gamboa is here. Gamboa was giving far too many opportunities for Crawford in that moment. And I believe this is the finish in the fight. Crawford's just trying to get him off at this point. But then you see that after he's in that close kind of warfare, he's back into the orthodox stance. Gamboa, once again, he's just trying to load up with these big right hands. He does kind of connect on Crawford at the side, but Crawford's smart. He's off the center line. He's leaning off to his right this time. And then Crawford misses with that right hand, but he kind of goes back into the orthodox position. And he throws a wide throwaway hook. And it's a bit of desperation maybe by both guys trying to get that finishing shot. Because Gamboa at this point knows he's in danger to lose this fight. But he's obviously in the orthodox position. Crawford rolls that shot, really. Kind of rolls around. But after he rolls around, he knows Gamboa is wanting to land something. So he shifts back as he throws the left hook. And now he's in a southpaw position. And Gamboa is now right in the line as he's bent over after throwing that right hand. Which is really... naturally, if you're an orthodox fighter and you're going to throw the right hand, you're going to be, in a lot of cases, bending over to that side of the center line. And even the left hook from Crawford almost guides Gamboa's head in the line of that right follow-up right hand. And in this case, it was an uppercut as he comes up. Hits him right in the chin. But it's just the positional awareness of when to change from Crawford. And also give him the space to counter punch. It's really, really intelligent stuff. And instinctual as well. I think, obviously Crawford's been boxing since he's been like 6 or 7 years old. He would have tried this stuff in the gym all the time. And I think it just comes natural to him, basically, in these moments, in the heat of the moment. But I'm sure they would have worked and stuff like that for this fight, knowing that Gamboa overcommits with the right hand and left hooks. So it was a really nice finish, I have to admit. And it was all through the use of switching stances. You can see here. So it is a bit messy, I'll admit. And just the wee shuffle back to escape the danger. He does get hit in the chin a little bit. But I just love that moment from it's like a check hook from it's like a check hook going backwards, I guess, as he shifts back. So he shifts back into the southpaw stance. And then it's like the weight transfer again goes through because he's shifted back. He's able to generate the power onto the front side. You can see how the weight, as he moves his foot back, and then he forces the weight back. I want to tell you about the Boxing Life Patreon. On there, I have an ever-growing library of fight film studies, which goes into extensive details of tactics and styles. Not only that, you get early access to upcoming videos and extra content, including my betting previews with my own personal predictions and picks, while you can also ask me questions on my monthly Q&A. If you want to go a step further, the champ level tier gives you the request for me to create your own film study or cover a boxing topic. Whether it's your favourite fighter or an upcoming fight, I'll cover it. This is a great way to support the channel and for me to dive deeper into the sweet science without the worry of content getting blocked or demonetized on YouTube. If you want to try it out, there is a 7-day free trial. I'll leave it in the description below.